What's up, everybody? This is Jay, and this is the Shy Season 2, Episode 1 recap for Eruptions. Now, I want to thank everybody that support my work at patreon.com. And also, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. If you enjoy the video, click that like. Let's get into it. Now, the video starts off with, riding through the city, seeing a lot of the neighborhood and everything. Lil Easy, he's still rolling with the little taco truck, pulls up at the Regal Theater. He's talking to a customer, and he got the food, but he only had credit card, no cash, so he let him slide. Then they show him at another part in the park in the city, and he's hooking this woman up, and she said, "Here's a card. I know how to get small businesses loans. By the way, you getting the boot." So he busts out the truck, and he look, and he see this big man, large and in charge, giving him the boot. And so the first thing he do is try to bribe him with some food. He say, "Man, look, I'll hook you up with this food, man." And so he's sweating real hard because he bent over once. And so he say, "Man," he said, "the food like crack. I used to smoke crack, so I'll be the judge of that." He said, "Okay." So he hook him up with his pork belly and polenta taco, which was ham and all kind of gook in it. And so he passed it to Fat Boy. And next thing you know, he starts woofing it down. After he gets it, he pretty much said, "If you like it, don't give me the boot. If you don't, give me 2 boots." And then he looked like he didn't fell in love right there when he ate the taco. And so Brandon was happy. He let him off the hook. And so we see it's been a long day at work. He's finally on the way home. He pulls up, getting ready to get out the truck. Next thing you know, it's somebody with a gun to his head robbing him. And he said, "Man, I don't have no money." He said, "Get that money from up under the seat." And so he said, "Man, it's just a couple $100, man." He said, "Man, I ought to shoot you for lying. Give me the keys." And then he stole his truck and his money and pulled off, left Brandon looking salty. Meanwhile, we get a flashback to 2007. We see Soldier Boy. And so he's coming on home, Ronnie, and this is before he turned into that booger beard. And he had all kind of stuff to give to the kids in the hood from where he was traveling. And then you see Miss Ethel start yelling at the kids, "Y'all get out of here." And then she sees Ronnie. He's smiling, and he go and give her a hug. She said, "Oh, Ronnie, I thought you wasn't going to be here till tomorrow." And he said, "Oh, well, I just wanted to surprise you, that's all." And so he give her a hug, come on inside. Next thing you know, we see his life in the pen right now. And so he locked up at the county. And so he gives this one dude that's shaking and twitching, give him a little something on the side, tell him to put it between his gums, a little alcohol pad to help ease the shakes. Meanwhile, we see Emmett. He sleep, and his mama trying to wake him up, Jada, and she's saying, "You get up. You need to get up. You missed your appointment." And he look, and he like, "I'll just reschedule." She said, "You've been rescheduling." And he said, "What you doing?" She said, "I'm about to move. The moving people coming." He said, "What? The moving people? The 1 bedroom?" He's like, "Where I'm supposed to stay?" "I don't know. I told you for the last 3 months you need to find a place." He said, "But look, Mom, I ain't found a place." She like, "What about my son?" She say, "I ain't seen him in how long?" "Yeah, but that's Tiff's fault." She said, "That's your fault for being with her. I got to go." And so now he looking stupid. Meanwhile, we see Kevin, and he with his mama going to get some therapy, and he don't want to do it. And she's saying, "Man, that's for white people. We don't need therapy." And she said, "Well, after 400 years of slavery, black folks need therapy more than anybody." He said, "That's your excuse for everything." She take his headphones and make him go to therapy. Meanwhile, we see Jerica, sexy as can be, and she talking to Lil Easy, and he's telling her about how he got robbed and lost everything, and she's saying, "Call the police." He like, "That ain't gonna help." And he said, "Call insurance." And then he ain't say nothing, so she looking at him like, "Don't tell me you ain't have insurance on that truck. You want me to treat you like an adult and stop, getting on you, but you ain't handling business like you supposed to." He say, "That costs money. I can't pay you back and everything." And she say, "Don't worry about paying me back." Meanwhile, we see Big Papa and Kev at school, and Maisha, she little Queen Latifah getting ready to have her little diagram about the solar system, and if the kids was loud, she told them to shut up. They got quiet quick. And so then she getting ready to do a display. Kev like, "What she know about the solar system?" Papa say, "I don't know. My daddy say women run the world." And so we see her little display. She pop on the music. Everybody start dancing, doing a little Cabbage Patch. And so then she starts giving a little display about the solar system. The teacher say, "Why is Earth so black?" She say, because of global warming, I burnt the tennis ball. She said, oh, okay. And so she's going on with her little diagram, explaining it and everything. It looked like she did a good job. She happy. And so then the teacher said, okay, that was good. Who's next? And everybody tried to put their head down or whatever. And so then when the bell rings, she say, all right, Kevin and Papa, you all bring your volcano. So now they stressing because they don't have their project together. And so when he opened up to get the stuff out his locker, all kind of snacks fall out his little vending machine locker. He gave him the little diagram. It looked like an elbow. He said, man, this ain't no volcano. This an elbow. He say, look, man, I got a lot of stuff to do. I got to go to church. I got to go do this, that, and the other. Then next thing you know, walks up and he's like, what's up, y'all? And so then Kev and Jake still ain't talking. Papa like, come on, man. Y'all worse than girls. This broke up New Edition. And so then they walk off. They ain't talking. And Kev like, what? Meanwhile, we see Emmett and he knocking on the door trying to see his little kid. And so she opened the door. What you doing here? He like, come on, I want to see my little man. I'm be moving. I don't know the next time I see him. She say, you bogus. You called DCFS on me. You need to go. You ain't seeing him. He like, come on, let me see my little dude. She like, boom, slammed the door in his face. He's standing there looking stupid once again. Meanwhile, we see Maisha and Kev and Papa want to pay her to make their volcano. So she got a whole list of snacks. She even got a Skittles purse. And so she like, I want some Funyuns, 3 bags of Funyuns, Reese's. I need this, I need that, and a Fitbit. I'm trying to get in shape. Don't be trying to scoop me either, Papa, once I get chose. He like, what? She like, you got some nerve being big and don't like big girls. Anyway, I want all my food on that list and I make it. Until then, I ain't making nothing. So they walk off. They like, man, we should just get her a Fitbit and call it a day. Meanwhile, we see Brandon, Lil Easy, he walk in and he see Gravy and he tell him that he got robbed the other day. And so Gravy like, what? You got robbed? Damn, you can't have nothing no more. And so he get up and go into the room and he get out a little shoebox and he said, Brandon like, man, I don't need no church shoes. He like, boy, will you just shut up and listen? And he pull out the gun that he took. He say, I ain't never get rid of it. And so now Brandon thinking about taking the gun back and he get the gun and now he, strapped. But is he gonna use it? Meanwhile, we see Emmett and he's over here trying to talk to Keisha to get a place to crash. He got his clothes in garbage bags. She like, no, all you try to do is try to come over here when you want something or you want to get some. And so he like, come on, I ain't got a place to go. I hide. They won't know I'm here. She like, yeah, you can hide under the bed, right? He like, man, I'm for real. I'm homeless. I ain't got nowhere to go. And so she's feeling sorry for him for a second. And so then she like, hold up. And right when he was about to walk away, she throws some damn protein bars out the window. He like, what the hell is this? In case you get hungry. And so he picks them up. I would have left him there. But anyway, he picks up the protein bars. He on his way walking down the street. Meanwhile, we see Miss Ethel talking to Jada, and so she's asking her what's going on, what you doing here, you got fired from stealing. She like, yeah, for helping you. And she like, oh, okay. And why you still here? Ronnie gave her power of attorney so she can take care of her. She get a knock at the door. It's a white lady. She talking to her. Miss Ethel, tell her to get out of here. She said, are you her sister, her daughter? Because hasn't responded to the eviction notices, and we have some nice brochures of places she can go and her price point. I know my rights. I've been here for 30 years. And so she's still talking to her. She like, eviction? She said, yeah, the house has been sold. And then she gave her the brochure. Please try to get her to take a look at it. Meanwhile, she get a call from Emmett. And so she look and she like, who is that? You got a new man? And she say, no, that's Emmett harassing me. And she said, well, why he harassing you? Well, I moved and got a 1-bedroom. He need a place. She say, why you gonna leave your son out there by himself homeless? And she say, well, you the one told me to find a place. Yeah, but don't abandon your kids. And so meanwhile, we see Ronnie in lockup. He trying to get some clothes, food, whatever. And then that white boy he helped, his name's Skokie. He trying to help him out. They talking. He thankful for what he did. And so he's telling him what he in for murder. And he in there for breaking and entering. And so he said, yeah, I got a lawyer, man. I'm going to get out of here. He said, man, I'm going to take the plea. I'm gonna go ahead and save the family some trouble. And so Skokie is like, man, you're a good dude, man. I couldn't do that. And so Ronnie, they said, let's go get some chow. Meanwhile, we see Ronnie with a flashback rubbing that swole head, and he trying to drink a brew and fill out the application to be a cop. And meanwhile, Miss Ethel on the phone gossiping, all talking about how great Ronnie is, and he done brought her some type of fancy liquor from overseas. He said it's from the first Persian Empire. And so she like, yeah, it's from somewhere overseas, girl. He gonna be a police officer and everything. He is doing good. And so he trying to remember addresses and stuff. But she said, don't worry, baby, you gonna be all right. Meanwhile, at the corner lounge liquor store, we see Reg playing pool with his goons. And next thing you know, Lil Easy Brandon walk in, and he put the gun on the table. And he tell him, man, here go your gun, man. Let's talk. And so he tell everybody to leave. And he like, man, we even now. I don't want to be involved. Red start laughing. He say, what? You ain't out till I tell you out. And so Brandon like, man, look, man, here's your gun, man. I gave it back to you. What else I want? I don't need you to rob me no more. He like, man, ain't nobody want that ice cream truck. And you ain't out till I say you out. You need to keep this. You need it more than me right now. And he gave the gun back to Brandon and he left. Meanwhile, we see at Sonny's chicken pit. They juking. Sonny looking for Emmett. He looking around the store. He go in the back. Emmett in the back washing up in the damn sink. He said, man, what you doing washing your ass where I clean my chicken, boy? And so he look at it. He like, man, my mom trying to teach me a lesson. I ain't got nowhere to go. He said, all these girls and you ain't got no place to go. Something ain't right. So he get dressed. He see these two cuties in the lobby. And so he try to holler, shoot his shot. And one of the girls, she must have liked him because her little raisinette nipples was on hard enough to cut glass. And so she give him a little smile. So meanwhile, we see they at the club partying or whatever. They kissing, they popping pills. They smoking, drinking. He feeling good. He thinking everything good. He like, so where's your house? Let's go crash. They like, sorry, we don't take boys home. He like, oh man, what's up with that? And so now once again, he looking stupid. He done had the gas face all episode while they leave off laughing. Meanwhile, we see he on the train. And so in Chicago, you can get on the train. It runs 24 hours. And so he get on the train with a bag of White Castles, and he just got all his garbage with him, and he fall asleep on the train. I guess it's better than sleeping in the bushes. And then these two goons see him. They like, yeah, you done called DCFS on our sister. Wake your ass up. Punch him in the gut. And then next thing you know, he sit up and they still on him in the eye. And they tell him, man, next time you do something, if she lose that baby, we gonna beat your ass. Meanwhile, we see Kev, Papa, and Jake. Then Papa trying to say, I saw this on Maury. You guys, you got to settle your differences. Here, tell him what made you mad. He said he was talking about my brother. He said, yeah, but your brother's a killer. He said, guys, here, use these boxing gloves. No hitting above the neck and below the belt. So they start boxing and fighting. He like, wait. And then they all start laughing. They laid out and they telling them about Jake, about how they stressing about the volcano. He like, man, why don't y'all just go and steal the volcano from the library? So we see them running down the steps and they go to the library, but it's locked up. And so they decide, man, how we gonna get in the library and the library locked up? Next thing you know, he got a plan to get the janitor. He tell the janitor, hey, the toilet is stopped up, man. We need your help. And so he like, man, these damn kids. And so he get up with the plunger, hop into action. And when he go, he leave the keys behind for them to steal. Meanwhile, back at the county, we see Booger Beard training little Opie Taylor, and they all doing exercises. He like, man, how did you do so many? He say, man, I was in the army. And you can see he didn't heal from his gunshot. You can't even see his gunshot there no more. And so he said, I was going to join the army, but I guess it don't matter. You here with me. Meanwhile, we see Lil Easy, and he's talking to the Nigerian owner. What do you want? What kind of meal do you like? This meal is good, but what is the story? You did not tell me the story. What is your story behind the food? He's like, I don't know what my story is. Meanwhile, we see Jada, and she walking to Miss Ethel's, and there's some kids playing outside. She like, tell them damn kids to move. I get my shotgun. And she like, go on, Miss Ethel. Meanwhile, we see Ronnie have another flashback of when he went to go fill out the police academy application. And so he in there trying to fill out the police academy to be the new high tower. And he's sweating bullets in there. I guess he's stressing out. Meanwhile, we see Brandon, aka Lil Easy, and he got his taco truck back. And so she's like, "Oh, see, you got your truck back." And he's like, "Yeah, that was a 3% chance." She said, "Yeah, I told you what they take, all my food and stuff." But I guess Cookie was looking out. And then we see Lil Easy, he got a big old belly. It's turning into the Big Easy. And we see him talking about what his story is about how he used to make food for Cookie. She said, "See, that's your story. Next time you talk to an old girl, that's your story." Meanwhile, we see Emmett, and he done went to his mama new house, ringing the bell, and she answered, and she like, "What's up, Emmett?" And he said, "Come on, Mom, I need a place to stay. You proved your point. I done got jumped and everything." She says, "No, you need to find your own place. I can't keep being there for you all the time." And she just leave him hanging homeless. Like, that was real cold-blooded, just so she can possibly find a man. That's wrong. Meanwhile, we see Big Papa and Jake, and they working on the volcano. They done spray painted it black. And so they like, "Man, what are we going to do? We need some baking soda and vinegar." And so they like, "Well, let's try this." And so they use the little cleaner or whatever, and they put it in there. They like, "What we going to do for the bubbles?" And they pour in some red pop. And so when they pour in the pop, they looking to see what the reaction is. And next thing you know, boom, it explodes. And it's showing it explode all over their teacher. And she like, "Oh, good job, guys." And so they all laughing, everybody happy about the volcano. And so then Maisha like, "I know you stole that from the library. If I don't get all my snacks on that list, I'm telling." And they like, "Oh man, Jesus, take the wheel." Meanwhile, we see inside the pen, Ronnie, he's starting to have the shakes. He digging in the toilet, and he ain't trying to get that log removed. He getting some old jailhouse hooch to suck on. And he drink it on down, take a couple alcohol prep pads, and put it between his gum and his bottom lip, so he can get the little Jones and the shakes up out of his system. Meanwhile, we see he have a flashback of when he got his mail from being a cop, and you see his grandma bragging on him, and he reading that he was unable to be a cop. They didn't give him the job, and so he's sipping on that drink he got from overseas, getting real lit and depressed. He take out his 9 milli, and he playing with it, putting it up to his head. He contemplating suicide, and then all of a sudden, right before he about to do that, a basketball busts through the window. He go chase the kids down and find one of the kids. He like, "What's your name, little badass?" He said, "Jason." And so then next thing you know, we see Emmett with his garbage bags and luggage, and he goes to this one dude's house with a bunch of kids. He like, "What can I do for you?" He like, "What's up?" And that was his dad. He like, "What's up, son?" Meanwhile, we see in the taco van, and fat Big Easy, he looking at the taco. He gets some spray paint, and then he starts spray painting on the van real ghetto style. And next thing you know, we see he wrote Coogie's Taco Corner on the side. So I don't know, maybe that's his story. Meanwhile, Miss Ethel on the phone, and she get a knock at the door. She go, it's a guy talking about, "Hey, we looking for donations for homeless veterans to keep veterans like me out of trouble." She say, "You don't even look old enough to be a veteran. Hold on, let me get something for you, baby." Next thing you know, he say, "Okay, no problem. We'll take whatever you have." And he really meant it. He punched her in the eye. She fell out on the floor. Next thing you know, it's a guy busting through the back door, tearing the place up. They beat the hell out of Miss Ethel, punched her all in the face, bloodied her up, dragged her by her ankles, her drawers hanging out, bloodied all in the face. And next thing you know, it cuts to Kevin, and he's in therapy. And so the therapist is asking him questions about what he want to do, what is he like. He like, "I like video games, basketball." They like, "So what does it feel like when you saw that Cookie get shot? I know he wasn't your friend." He ain't say much. They say, "What do you want to do when you grow up?" He like, "Well, if I grow up, I don't know, maybe I'll, work on computers or something." They like, "Oh, if you grow up?" That's sad to say. And so he didn't even realize he said, "If I grow up." Meanwhile, that's how the story ends for episode 1. It's good to see the show back on the air and see the neighborhood represented. And it's interesting. I'm interested to see how this all pans out. It was sad to see Miss Ethel get beat the way she did. It's definitely going to make Ronnie change his mind about taking the plea deal and getting locked up. He going to change his mind and go back to protect his grandma. He ain't going to do that, and that's going to cause other problems. As well as Jada is bogus for kicking her son out on the street and being homeless just so she can get a man that she don't even have yet. If the man don't accept her for who she is and her kids, then he ain't worth being her man. And I know Emmett need to get his stuff together, but making him homeless, that's going to make him resent her and probably never talk to her again if it was realistic. Anyway, now at least he's with his father, and we'll see how that relationship turns out. Thanks for watching. I look forward to bringing more recaps for the Shy this season, and I'll see you on the next episode. Peace.